Okay, welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, or gentlemen and girl. I don't know what my metrics are. Today we're going to talk about the free-to-play side of the game. Cards that require $0, zero stubbies, to acquire. Because I think we're kind of reaching the point where are they going to be as good as a pay-to-win team? Probably not. There's a 98 that is out there you can buy, but we're talking about the cards that really don't require a whole lot. Now, mind you, you can get some of the best cards in this game, like Carlos Beltran, totally for free. But I'm willing to bet if you're free to play or some money spent, no money spent, however you play this game, you're probably kind of looking for some budget-friendly guys that can do some stuff. Now, we're going to talk about some of the cards that kind of fit this mold, some of the stuff that's coming, because of the All-Star stuff coming, and it looks like they're going to be probably 96s to 97s. Things could be changing here kind of drastically, but with the weekend league kind of going on, if you still haven't got it, today is Saturday, so you got some time to do it. But I want to talk about some of the free-to-play stuff, and we'll go through some of the cards here on the fly that I think are pretty dang special. So if you like this kind of stuff, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out on anything. I know we're kind of falling behind here. We're gonna be changing that here in a second. Don't worry. We're gonna be back. I will be back to being the piece of shit that everyone knows and loves. I promise. So with all that said, let's jump into this thing. Strap it on, boys, and let's take a look at some of these cards that I think are pretty spectacular. Okay, so this is basically where we're going to be going. It's going to sort of just be the program stuff, and we're kind of going to work our way from here. So realistically, when we're talking about the free-to-play side and kind of the weekend league, realistically, I don't necessarily think we need 6 pitchers. I think if we kind of go 3-4, we'll probably be pretty okay. So let's start there with the player stuff. So this is the player stuff. I am well behind. I'm working on it. I don't have to do a lot for like the last 3. I just have to like 1 or 2 things, but we'll get to. But today, let's start with the obvious here. I'm almost done with Kershaw, but this card's absolutely gross. It's free. It's a 99. You're probably gonna see a lot of him weekend league if you haven't already. I don't know where we begin. If you have this card, it's a game changer. If you don't, make sure you get this card. It's a game changer because it's a free 99. There's 2 99 pitchers, one being Roger, one being Kershaw. So both of these cards together, I think, get a 1-2, really, really good 1-2 punch. Surprisingly, I know. But I know a lot of people won't necessarily have Clemens. Kershaw's going to be your guy. Kershaw cards are always good. You could say, like, oh, he's been around too much, so people might guess the motion. If that's the case, that's the case. I think you should still get it because this card's going to carry for a while. Like, a long while. He's going to be a mainstay in a lot of people's rotations. For sure. This is what I'm going to say about you, Darvish. I think you, Darvish, in terms of standing, is good enough. I think in terms of free-to-play, if we're looking at cards that we can get and use kind of fast and pretty well, I think he handles it. Sinker, cutter, he has the meta, which I know some people really, really like. Sweeper, slider also work. The fastball's 95. People might complain that the fastball sinker being 95 might not play. I personally don't mind when they look similar in velocity because that's kind of what I want. I don't like it being sinker 93, fastball being 97. I want it to look the same because I want it to move down at as late as humanly possible. I want them to think straight fastball, not sinker. That's kind of with the cutter, where it's like if the cutter's 91 and not as hard, I'm kind of because it shows a little bit more because it'll be a hair slower, and if they can catch it, they might see it, which is not what I necessarily like. Now, in terms of the control here, just so you can see, like the sinker cutter are 88 and 85 respectively because they are like the last 2 pitches in the thing. I don't necessarily think it's gonna matter a ton. The par might be a little big, but again, I think a lot of people overlook or overreact to certain things where it's like, if it works, it's gonna work. If we're dealing with the top 1% of the 1%, sure, we're gonna have problems. I don't think that's the majority of players. Majority of players, if we go by stats who are barely touching all-star, you're probably gonna be fine using him. If you are like 1,000 player, I don't know why you're watching me. I'm an idiot. But I don't see this as an issue. as much as the next guy. But it's like I just want to make this point here. So like Kershaw, for instance, I'm making the wrong thing. His control is 92 on his sinker. So I just putting that one out there too, that 99 to 92. I know people will say that's a little bit different, but it's just the point I'm trying to make here. I think we're willing to take some of that, especially with those two cards in particular, because they're pretty good. Now, in terms of like the cornerstone cards, I don't necessarily think they're worth the while. Craig Kimbrell might be in a free-to-play bullpen, but again, it comes down to my favorite thing when I talk about the three pitches. Four-seam knuckle curve and a sinker. Is that going to benefit anyone? Probably not. And especially at a 92, and I think there's better stuff out there. But if you're in a pinch, go ahead and use it. Probably, yeah, I would say use it. For the 95s here, if you can get a couple of these done, maybe like if you're really hurting for outfield and you want some defense, Gordon's your guy. He can be bottom of the order hitter. You're mainly there for defense. If you want to pull him up the bench, that's fine. He's going to play all his positions fairly well for the most part, whether it be the corner infield spots or left field. He'll play pretty well. Juan Marichal might be a sneaky one as a pitcher here because of the pitch differential, especially on higher difficulties, because the sinker's kind of slow. His fastball's really fast. But 3 of the 4 pitches are in the 70s, 74, 79, and 71. So 2 of these pitches are going to be slower than piss. And in a meta where we're talking fast, we're talking people are pitching fast. His control's going to be there. He might be a sneaky guy that if you get done and you throw him in, you might be able to throw some guys off, especially getting to somebody like a Ben Joyce or something who throws gas. He might be able to sneak some stuff in there because that pitch difference is really going to screw with people. So right there's 3 pitchers right there. If you're really in desperate need, there you go. We got 3. Going down the list here, I probably would stay away. JD, okay, hold on. I do want to make sort of the asterisk thing here if you are in like the hurting mode here for players. JD, I think, isn't JD pretty? Yeah, JD's valid. Like the power against lefties could be better, but he's over 100. I would say if you are in desperate need and you want some oomph, he's still valid. I think he's still very good. I know there's better cards, but just saying if you are kind of like, well, I just got this game 3 weeks ago. What the hell are you talking about? Understood. Now let's talk about the drop 4 spotlight. This is basically the monthly award stuff. In terms of cards in here, Sir Anthony Dominguez, I think, is a bullpen guy through and through. He's got the 5 pitches. Yeah, he's 93, but not all 93s are made equal. He's got the clutch is good, the strikeouts are good, the hit per 9 is good, the control is a little bit less than a little bit rough on higher difficulty, but if you're only throwing for an inning, I don't necessarily think you're good. I would hope, and you may cross your fingers and say, damn, I hope I don't get lit up like a goddamn Christmas tree. I don't think you are. The break is very good here, too. Velocity's there. He doesn't have outlier, but he's going to be throwing gas. And if you're switching him from Marichal, I think you'll have a little bit better of a get than saying going fast to fast. But again, I'm not necessarily, the guy on this. I'm just sort of telling you what I think, and in terms of guys you can get easy. Quinn Priester is another one who I think might be sneaky good, especially as a back-end guy if you're looking for free-to-play stuff for Weekend League and free-to-play teams in general. I think Quinn Priester is kind of there as well. Sinker, we talked about sinker cutter, sinker slider cutter, curve and a change. I know people hate. There are pitches people hate, and I don't know why. But in terms of this, the control is there. Sinker cutter are both in the 90s. The sliders in the 90s. Hell, if you want to make him a 3-pitch pitcher, you're fine, and then just spot the off-speed stuff. You're there. Movement's there as well. So I would say, in terms of this, he's, again, probably sneaky that you could sneak in there kind of on the back end. So right now, you're looking at a rotation of Kershaw, Darvish, Marichal, and Priester. There's 4. You're probably set. If you want him to throw as a 5th, there could be another guy that I miss. Heck, if you could, I'm going to regret saying this, but I think he's still kind of very much cheap. He's kind of cheap still. If you get your hands on Jacob Mizorowski, Jacob currently is at 19 buy now, 16 sell now. If you get your hands on him, he could also be kind of like your 4th. And then you got 5 right here. Fastball, slider, curveball, and a circle change. He's got an outlier on fastball and the slider. Go absolutely hog wild. This kid's going to throw gas, and he's going to probably get a better card. Because I'm just going to tell you hold on. right now. Yeah, the changeup, he doesn't have control. It's going to go everywhere, but by golly, you'll get some swings. I'm just going to tell you. The break, absolutely insane. Just ignore the control and just cross your fingers and cross everything that you're going to get it where you want to go. Pretty dang good there. Continue scrolling down the list here. In terms of first baseman, I think Michael Busch against righties is absolutely 1,000% the call here. 111, 115. He can't hit lefties, but we can find a left-handed guy or a lefty specialist if we need to, if you really are that uncomfortable. But free-to-play card, 94, he can play first base for you, especially in weekend league. I know it might be a little bit more left-handed centric, but having him there. Alec Burleson, I would say your call. I kind of briefly said this. I think he might be more of a bench utility guy than anything else. But on the surface, if you're kind of desperate, I think he'll play. The clutch is high enough to where I don't think it matters because it's going to be 125 against both sides. So it really comes down to the power. The vision's good. It's just a matter of do you trust him in right field. If you do, cool. I wouldn't waste your DA spot on him. But again, if you're kind of looking for a guy who can maybe make contact, can play out the 2-hole, he's probably your guy. Again, kind of up to you. Back in here, if you get some of these drops, I love this Brooks Lee card. Absolutely. I thought about selling him, but I love him too much. Gross. Absolutely fucking gross card there. If you can pull him or buy him, he's only 13. CJ Abrams, I think, is a great second baseman for this. The clutch, I wish was a little bit higher, but again, we're not here to complain. I would personally play him at second just because of the fielding, so you can maybe hide him a little better. People might not even play him because of the fielding problem, but if you could play him at second, I would say he's going to be common, though. I couldn't. Don't listen to me. I'm looking purely from an offensive perspective here, not necessarily up the middle. If you want to take the risk, take the risk. In terms of like what his bat can do, he's got a good swing. I think his bat will play. And that kind of from here to, I would say if you pull Jazz, you could sneak Jazz in there probably if you really, really wanted to. But these guys are still kind of pricey, so probably not gonna wish that upon you. And then again, the exclusive one where you get one of these guys, I would say cross your fingers for Brooks Lee or something like Vinny. Sure, Drew Rasmussen, I think, because he might be a sneaky one. He's kind of a sneaky little lad here. You pull him, there's your sixth guy if you need an extra one. Now we're coming to Joe Adell. Joe Adell, I would say I wouldn't necessarily play him in center field. However, as a DH, positively freaking lootly. But again, depends on what you're looking for. So I would say, yeah, Joe Adell. All of these cards, 1,000%. If you can play the majority of them and start them and probably do really well. It's just 2 question marks, which I don't necessarily. I wouldn't really wave a finger at. Now, speaking of more of like these cards, Nolan Arenado, really good defense. He can play a really good third. He's got the bat, I think, that still does pretty well. You could probably sneak him in there at third as a free-to-play player, on a free-to-play team, and probably do okay. I'm sure there's better options, but if we're looking from the perspective, a 95 that can do this with the plus power, I think we'll take it. The clutch is 103. It's not going to matter a whole hell of a lot. I think you're probably fine on that one. Evan Carter, I think, is I love Evan Carter cards. Again, he might not play against lefties really well, but against righties, spectacular. His swing's really good. I think he could probably handle lefties, at least to a certain degree. The clutch will help him out, too. Really good speed. He can't steal, but he'll get on base for you, probably. If you're desperate. And again, we talk about the defense of Adell versus the defense of like of Evan Carter. I would say you could Adell DH, Evan Carter in center field. Not the worst decision overall. And the last one from the set, again, he's a little bit low overall, but Hunter Goodman, his swing's pretty good. If you're desperate for a catcher, you could use him. I think there's a little bit better of catchers. I want to see, because he would be this one, right? No, the last one. Because there's this, if you're kind of looking for, Logan O'Hoppy's 92. I would say Logan O'Hoppy might be a little bit better, but he's only 92. So keep that in mind. Also, by the way, this might just be a crazy take. I kind of think this Jose Soriano card would be pretty good. Control, again, we talk about the lackey, but primary sinker card. Doesn't have the cutter, but if you pulled him, would you be, I don't necessarily think anyone would be overly upset. Maybe they would. Who knows? People are weird. But those are the spotlight stuff. Now, kind of looking towards the player. Let me go back to theme stuff. Sammy Sosa. I would say if you got Sammy Sosa, I'd play him. I think this card plays in right. I think he can handle right field okay-ish. Again, we talked about the DH spot. I would say if you're going to go with Joe Adele, you could stick him in right and probably be okay. His bat's going to carry for sure. He's free. Another free flashback lightning card, which is pretty helpful along the way. Pretty good. From the prime stuff, just the straight prime program, I would say if you want to play, we talked about kind of the platoon situation. Richie Sexton fits what we were looking for the other side. His clutch will bring the contact to 97. A couple parallels will be even better. He could play there primarily, probably without Bush backing him up if you really, really wanted to. But again, we're talking about the platoon situation. Richie Sexton can probably handle on his own, and he's 100% free. I would say prime Richie Sexton could play first base for you in weekend league, and you'll probably do okay because the numbers are so damn similar. Pretty good. Salvi, I think Salvi is also respectable back there as a 94. I like Salvi's swing. I always have. I think this card will play pretty good along the way. Again, are there better catchers? Absolutely. Morton, I wouldn't necessarily go to Morton, but sinker cutter, people really like that. As you see, you can't really see here. As you see here, 86 on the cutter pitch control, so it's not gonna. You'll miss. To be honest, I would probably say, but a lot of this stuff has movement except for the cutter. If you're desperate and need another card, probably worthwhile. Mike Cameron hits absolutely nukes for me. I would say you could stick him in there as well. Maybe at least as a defensive replacement. He's not diamond, but that reaction's a 90. It'll play. He's pretty good. So again, I think these prime cards are really, really good. And in terms of like the packs that you're getting, I think some of these play well. In terms of like the starting, this is probably the best catcher or one of the best catchers, Jason Varitek. He's still 48K, but you run him, not too shabby. Terry Pendleton, I loved his original card from the multiplayer program. His contact, I think, plays really well. Power. He had a little bit of pop for me, so it's perfectly fine. Michael Young kind of feels like a wet noodle. I don't know why, because he's similar to Terry Pendleton, which is funny. He's cheaper too, but I don't know. Michael Young's never been the best for me. I don't know. His swing feels weird, but if you get him, I think at short he's fine. More truthfully, I think the prime stuff plays really, really well. Like Ian Kinsler's my primary second baseman. Now the pitching here, Jim Cott is probably not. He doesn't have the speed. His sinker is 94, which kind of goes, but again, I feel like in terms of we're playing like the speed differential game, Marshall's a little bit better at it than Jim Cott. But again, we're talking about guys you're kind of getting, and then Rossi, I would say kind of this way down, probably not. I mean, maybe Newhouser, because I think he doesn't have outlier. But I would say maybe Newhouser, but like nothing kind of screams that for me, especially if he gets a better card later on. But like these two guys are primary your defense carry cards, as you see there, 86s. Yeah, these are defensive carry. Brian Roberts, again, probably wouldn't do much with. His sinker does throw hard, but again, I think there's better options, at least overall. Paul Skeens, I think Paul Skeens deserves to be in the rotation, and especially if he's not. We don't know if he's getting an all-star card. He's he's going to the all-star game. If he gets a better card, but that won't be for a couple weeks and not this weekend league. He could be thrown in rotation. So we talked about, like, I would say throw him in there if you don't have Jake Mazeroski or something. He can go in there. So now we're good. We got a plethora. But I would say he's a guy you probably use. So Kershaw, Darvish, Marichal, Priester, Skeens. Boom. You're done. Bullpen, throw whatever you have together in there. There's some guys who I think would benefit, but for sure, like these two programs, absolutely. Now, in terms of the bullpen, we're gonna go to the summer league. Camilo Duvall is at least viable to a certain degree. Catfish isn't. Michael Tolia, I kind of figure Bush kind of fills that role. Jerry Pena, I think there's better options. If you don't necessarily, you could bring Nick Castellanos. Honestly, I think his bat would play if you want to be a little bit different. But in terms of that, I would say this onward for sure. This didn't leave a lot to the imagination. I don't think a 92 is going to do much for you. And these cards, Schwarber needs to come down in price before I could say anything else. Because I think the two best cards are the best card, Corey Seager, not a lot of people are going to have. So there's that. But yeah. So switching, let's talk about the collection stuff. And the only reason I'm bringing up the collection stuff is because it leads into two other things. So if you get Juan Soto, 100% play Juan Soto. Again, it kind of comes down to how you feel. you could kind of switch him and Sammy Sosa out incrementally. I think Juan Soto's a better play. Having Sammy on the bench, probably a good idea. Then you have that right-handed pop, but Soto can definitely play the outfield. And again, Joe Adell on the bench. That's what I would say. If you get the retro lightning for Bobby Grich will play at second base. I love his swing. I'm also an Angel homer. Take with that what you will. I think Bobby Grich, if you can get your hands on him, is a pretty good second baseman, probably the best second baseman in the game. Disgusting. And also, if you do, you'll get Yanni Diaz. He's playable as well. It just sort of depends on what you want. I would say Richie Sexix. I want a little bit more power out of my first baseman. Just saying. I have to do the pack. I don't. Okay, fantastic. Talking about the other stuff here, I did unlock Ian Kinsler. I like Ian Kinsler. He might be my second baseman going into this as the free-to-play thing. As well, take it for what it is. Some people don't like his swing. I think his swing is fine, and he'll fill a void at second base around him. There's a lot. And if you're thinking, wait, how is he free to play? You bought him? No, I just locked in the 2 cards I got from the pack. So Ian Kinsler was very much free. In terms of summer, Aaron Bummer is a bullpen thing through and through. I think as a lefty, 93, he'll play. Sonny Gray, if you did do the Diamond Quest, I think he's adequate enough if you're kind of on the back end of things. Ludwig, maybe he can come off the bench, and if you really need a left fielder, he can fit it. Some of the guys from the the mini seasons, Altuve, again, I would say substitute if you need it. Who else was there? Fairbanks, again, if you need it, 3 pitches, probably not the most exciting. I think that's kind of it. Farmer, I think, has a good swing, but I wouldn't necessarily start him. Same thing with By11, Mr. I throw 2 curveballs, so probably wouldn't start him. I think Steer's from there, too. Is Steer from that? No, he's on the market. Probably anything but, like, the collection stuff and, like, some of these higher-end guys, I probably wouldn't start. If you're kind of looking that direction, just my opinion. I'm not necessarily saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. Pipeline, the only worthy card is probably Corey. If you're feeling really, I would say just Corey. Not even bother. And I don't think a lot of people are necessarily using him. That's kind of everything, I would say, at least from that regard. Now, do I think you'll go 6-0? Probably not. But hey, I think it gives you a fighting chance to at least compete. And to be fair, those cards are totally free. And I'm sure like some people have better cards in their binder. But if you're looking for free to play, that's basically a full team just minus the bench and the bullpen. The reason why I'm not talking about the bench or the bullpen, and this is just me, is I think the way the bullpen's kind of constructed, it's just going to vary on kind of what you have / want to use. Like, truthfully, like, are these 2 guys terrible? Not really. They're not good. Like, Santana, probably fine. Blake Triton, probably fine. If you can get Dennis Eckersley fairly cheap, probably fine. I would say just mix and match what you have. Same thing with the bench. Play by whatever rules you think you have. If you want a catcher, Yasmani, if you got him, great backup. There's plenty of stuff there. I just think in terms of lineup, that's probably the best lineup you can get. Actually, let me make it really quick. Let me pause it and I'll show it to you on screen. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I threw it together. This is sort of encompassing everything. That's more so because I missed some cards. So I threw the Brooks Lee because I pulled him again. If you're kind of just like, if you pull him, you pull him. If we're like, hey, we're looking totally free to play. If you're looking totally free to play, I would say the Derek Jeter from the program is probably valid enough from last month if you took him. If not, I would say Jeremy Pena or even that would work. But so some cards, honorable mention cards that I think play very well. James Wood. I think James Wood is still very good. If you got him from last month, which you probably do, throw him in left field. He'll be absolutely fine. Same thing here. The one card I did forget was Rafi Devers. If you pulled him, he could play DH for you too. I'm going to leave him on the bench for now. I have Scott Rowland, so I figured throw Scott Rowland on there. If not, throw in whoever you want. Realistically, like me, I kind of want a backup catcher. I think he was in the P93 or whatever. Sorry. He is where's Yaz? I would say Yasmani would probably be my backup catcher if I really need one. Boom. In terms of rotation, I totally forgot about Screwball. Throw him in there as well. So now you kind of switches things. I actually pulled Priester because I had Nolan Ryan. Again, just from getting him. kind of a little bit more pricey, but if you have him, you could throw him in there. If not, you totally feel free to like swap him out with like Priester as well if you want to. But again, these two are kind of placeholders here, so it would probably look something probably more like this. I don't think the order matters. I'm just throwing in my head of who I think I would play. So something like that, the 99, the 95, whoever you're comfortable with. Bullpen, again, I kind of threw this together. This is what I had. It's not necessarily the best, but in terms of like what was available, like you could probably, if you wanted to, you could throw Blake Trinan in, honestly, or Ben Joyce or something. I'm just sort of throwing it out there. I'm just giving options. This is just what I think. This is what I had. Not saying anything you had is right, bad, or good, bad, or indifferent. But hey, this is just the thing. And again, I think this is pretty good. Honestly, it's not a God Squad, probably by 39 Nation, but it's a 93. It's on par with what I think is my God Squad. Oh, hey, there you go. And mind you, I'm not even using the good Joe Adell. Honestly, like if I were to sub out Joe Adell for, I don't like a better card, like the Tommy Pham, it probably goes up to 90. It still stays there. But nevertheless, you see what I'm getting at. You can throw in whatever you want, and it's still going to be valid. It's still going to be good. This is a decent team. I think we're kind of sleeping on the free-to-play stuff here. Thrown out there. I mean, would a 98 Mickey Mantle be nice? Absolutely would. Saying we don't need him. We don't need him to be competitive. Don't let the whales tell you any different. There you have it. There's a little bit of team building, a little bit of talking about some of the other stuff that you can get along the way here. Again, talking about teams and team builds. But again, use what's good for you. If what's good for you is something different, by all means use it. What makes the game great. Again, I don't spend any money on the game, so this is kind of what I got from just playing and all that fun stuff. So all that being said, let me know. Did I miss anyone? Did I overlook something? If I did, let me know down below in the description or comment section. With all that being said, I will see you guys back here on Monday for another fantabulous video. So until then, my name is Specs. I will see you guys all.